The scene opens once again with Edwin sitting on his comfortable little crash couch, his little workspace within the small one-room apartment in the Blade. A few sounds occasionally coming from the room denote the sister's still sleeping. He's got at least a half an hour before she wakes up. His fingers glide over the keyboard of his laptop, mouse positioned to his side on the couch. His feet kind of propped up on the footstool before him. Tonight, at least the start of tonight, Edwin is checking over his TenSpot profile, double-checking the link and various other links that he uses for his little business venture, his little tech business venture. As he sits occasionally, he tabs over within his browser. He goes back to a bookmark of a security company online that deals in, well, security cameras. He scrolls back through the list until he finds a particular set. Wireless cameras with Ethernet connections for remote access, viewing, even remote tech access, software-based. He takes out a notepad and a pen and begins jotting some information down. Most of it scrawled in technical jargon. He doesn't spare anything in the language. He keeps it complex. More out of just habit, comfort, than anything else. At the top heading, next to the description, the base description of the package, he places the price tag, just shy of $3,000 for the set. Not including labor, of course, but that can be discussed in the future. When he's done, he tabs back over to his TenSpot profile and continues working. He tears the page, placing the pen to the side, or placing the pen in the wire spine of the notebook and placing it aside, places his mouse on top of it after closing it. Continues his work. I will be making a, let's see, intelligence finance to check the functionality, the business functionality of the page, and to see if there are any improvements. He is also going to be tabbing over to various other tabs that he has bookmarked. Followed up with a intelligence computer, as he's attending to at least one job tonight. So, intelligence finance, difficulty 7. As he's looking over the page, he opens a couple other tabs. Regarding online business setup, online business management. Another one on internet-based advertising. He double checks it, unsure about some of the language used, unfamiliar with some of the tactics. Gives it a little once-over. He does find some areas that could be improved. After about 20 minutes of tweaking some of the adverbiage, various nouns, adverbs, adjectives used on his profile, on his page, on his front end. He goes back and checks checks his client page. He takes a little bit out of habit, cracks his knuckles to keep them limber so that he can type efficiently. Again, another habit. Keep the fingers limber so they glide over. He begins to get to work. Apparently the client is experiencing a reduction in responsiveness via the internet, sluggishness in her computer's operations, and it begins to get to work. I'll be making an intelligence computer, difficulty 9, -2 for his computer aptitude. He sets to work. He doesn't immediately jump into a solution. He goes over meticulously all of the issues as he connects remotely to the client's system. All handled just as he states. Remote connection is done securely through his portal. Enters the back end of the client system through a COM port, one barely used. Typical vulnerability. But for this, he secures the port as he gets into the system. He goes over some of the usual problem areas and then starts setting to work on checking the least thought of areas, even amongst tech community. These solutions aren't typically explored. It takes his time. The job takes about 30 minutes. In this time, he begins to hear the stirring from the bedroom. Moments later, his sister comes out. He doesn't verbally greet her, he just kind of does a little hidey-ho and waves one hand in the air to her. By that time, he finishes the job and asks the client to run a test through the secure chat that his portal provides him with the client. After a while, the client follows his instructions and she's actually quite pleased. The payment is processed and he gives a cordial greeting and exit. Closes the portal, backing out of it, and promptly deletes the IP address information within a folder. Also, as promised, he doesn't keep this type of information. He looks up as his sister walks through the apartment, having just woke up, hair all over the place. She heads toward the bathroom. She looks over at him, but doesn't really pay him too much mind. Her demeanor is still a bit distant. He tilts his head to the side in an awkward way that even he's noticed. He worries. He worries if he's been too pushy, too overbearing. Nods his head. Eyes droop slightly in sadness. Concern. He closes his computer down. As he is setting his mouse on top of it after closing the laptop. He picks up the notepad once again. He pulls out, or he takes the page he pulled out, folds it up in quarters. He writes another one. To Mr. Fitzpatrick. He folds it in quarters and writes it on the outside. Then unfolds it and begins. I'd like to have a little catch-up. Current events discussion. It's a park in the face. It's a prominent oak tree. About 6 yards from the playground of the park. It's rather large. Meet me around there sometime after you get this message. He puts the pen down back at the spine of the notebook, tearing it, folding that into quarters. grabs his phone. Or no, he grabs his hooded sweatshirt. His glasses. Puts them on his face. After he puts the sweatshirt on, he grabs his phone and places it in a pocket, grabs the notes and places it in the pocket of his sweatshirt. Bathroom door is closed, the sound of the shower running. He listens carefully towards the door. A smile crosses his face as he hears Jessica sing in the shower. Well, at least she's doing well. He opens the door, tilting the latch on the bottom door handle, locking it. Walks out, closing it behind him, double checks the door, and begins heading out on the street to deliver a message and then to get to the park as the scene comes to a close.